welcome back to Words with Wayman. I'm your host, as always, Matt Wayman. Guys, thank you so much. Support us online at Words with Wayman on Twitter, Words with Wayman on Facebook. We got a great episode for you today. My very good friend, he's been doing comedy for 20 years. Fantastic gentleman. Please give it up for Mr. Ralph Grate. Thanks for coming out, Ralph.
Thank you for having me, Matt.
I first met you, I think, at an open mic I did a long time ago at in the back of that little Mexican restaurant.
El Chorrito.
Or the Blue Bonnet? Or did we meet at El Chorrito?
Yeah.
Another mic run at a Mexican restaurant.
Absolutely. You followed me there.
Yeah.
And you took off on my act and you killed. You were awesome.
It was fun. The first time I ever saw you, did fantastic. How did you first get into comedy?
What made me first think that I could even do comedy was, I remember I was 2 years old, and I wasn't able to form a sentence or let alone understand a conversation. But I remember walking by the television, and there was a comedian, I think his name was George Kirby, and he said, my parents never wanted me. They sent me to the store for a loaf of bread, and when I came back, they had moved. But as a kid, I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
I understood that. And so I started looking at life in a funny way then. But I had a friend, his name was Franklin Ajayi. Did you ever see that movie, Car Wash?
I think so, yeah.
Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
the guy with the afro, who's the fly in the movie, he let me know there was another style of comedy other than Richard Pryor or Red Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that, that attracted me, and I started doing open mics after that.
And what year was this?
Oh my God, that was...
Because I think a lot of people do that these days. They remember their comedy birthday or anything like that.
It was about 1979.
79.
Yeah.
Way before the boom.
Yeah.
And how were the open mics back then? Because I feel like a lot of people these days, there's so many young comics these days, especially in Denver and other scenes, that a lot of them now are kind of forgetting about how comedy started and kind of forgetting to respect a lot of these people that came before them, because it's just something that they just had. They had 20 open mics that they could go to. Yeah, it was given to them. So I feel like some comics these days are entitled.
You're right, because back then there were no open mics. I would go into a place where they had bands or just a piano, and I'd ask, hey, can I make the people laugh? You know? And,
you still do that to this day.
Yeah.
But those are better shows a lot of times than even some of these mics.
Because people aren't expecting comedy.
Yeah.
They're not primed to laugh. So if you get through to an audience like that, you believe it or not, you're making strides at being stronger.
Yeah.
When you get in front of an audience that is primed to laugh.
Yeah. They're going to definitely give you something different than the crowd that's there to go see a stand-up open mic, for sure.
Absolutely.
So how many times did you get up a week when you first started?
Oh, it was only one. If I was blessed to even be able to find the one, But then I decided to go out to L.A., and I did, and I started doing the New Talent Night open mics at the Comedy Store.
Oh, nice.
And that's mainly where I got most of my time and development, was at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
I became a regular, and so I was getting more stage time. I got a chance to watch some of the greatest comedians in the world, talk to them, befriended them. And
be on a mutual basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the most wonderful people that I'd ever met that actually befriended me and would talk to me and give me advice was Robin Williams.
Oh.
He was just the most wonderful, generous man. I remember one time I was at the Hyatt House next door with a girl who I had dated for the first time, but when I picked her up, she showed up in this veil. This full veil from head to toe.
Yeah.
And where the eyes were, there was like a little mesh screen. And she opened the door, I'm looking at her, and I can't tell her no.
Yeah.
I got to take her out.
Of course, right? It's past that point.
Right, so somehow we ended up at the Hyatt House there, and Robin was over talking with somebody, and he saw me, and he comes over and says, hey, Rayfield, that was my stage name.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Rayfield, what you got there? He said, is that a lamp? Can you turn it on? You know? And he was just laughing, but she was offended, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm glad he did it because I really wanted to end this date somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Just a guaranteed end right away.
Right. But Robin, he was that kind of person that, you know, he wasn't conceited or anything. If he saw you someplace and he knew you, he would talk to you.
That's what it should be, right? Just be normal
Absolutely.
people with each other.
But that's what we are. Money doesn't change that.
Yeah.
You know?
So you would get up there, what, like once a week or something?
Yeah, it would be on Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm. Was it a lottery system at that point?
No, the order that you signed up.
Oh, nice.
You know.
So what, you just show up at 6 o'clock? I know,
right,
like now you sign up at like noon or something.
6:45.
Yeah.
But at the time, the New Talent Nights was run by Robert Aguayo and Danny Mora, who were very wonderful people.
Yeah, you see him in like comedy docs a lot.
Right.
Start of the
Robert
scene.
Mora, he just did the I with Jessica Alba some time ago, you know.
Yeah.
So he's doing something. But yeah,
Making
we
some
get
cash.
up there, and after so long of doing that, I became a regular there and got my name written on the wall.
Yeah. Which is the dream for a lot of comics when you start, you know?
Right.
Because those institutions are these places that, especially back then, I mean, you can do comedy a lot more on TV, and that came a little bit after, but back then it was the clubs, right? I mean, that's pretty much it. It's like you would get on TV, or like the dream was to be on regularly at the club, and then Carson.
Tonight Show, yeah.
Tonight Show.
Carson, absolutely. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Well, we all had in our minds, well, you do Tonight Show, you'll make it.
Yeah. But it was that kind of back then, right? I mean,
well, back then, Johnny Carson would help you out. That show was, paramount to, you excelling and, at least working a lot. But it was hard to get on there.
To make a living. Did you work at this time when you were doing?
Yeah, I was a chef at the time at a local restaurant.
Yeah.
On Sunset and Hudson. It was called the Copper Penny restaurant.
What kind of food?
Your standard basic comfort food.
Nice.
Your breakfast, your chicken fried chicken, and deep fried shrimp.
So you were out in LA, you're doing comedy out there. You became a regular at the Comedy Store. What happened after that?
Well, after that, I had a little disagreement with the California judicial system.
Which a lot of people have had.
Yeah, so without going into detail, I ended up coming back to Denver back then. And at this time here, they had the Comedy Works downtown.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was run by like Don Becker and Ed Nichols and Wendy and all them. Roseanne was there at the time that I was there. I became a regular there. And they used to have a place out there called Turn of the Century.
Okay, another comedy club?
No, it was a place where all the big-name musicians and bands, singers would go. And when I was in town, the OJs and the Isley Brothers were appearing there, and I got the opportunity to open for them there.
Yeah.
But this is way back in the day.
Yeah. How many people is that? Like a couple thousand people?
Yeah.
Which had to feel fantastic.
I think it held about 1,000.
1,000 people.
Yeah.
That must have felt great to crush in front of 1,000 people.
Oh yeah. It was a good set, but it wasn't a great set.
Yeah.
That I did.
They were ready for what? The comedy, or they were ready for the music and stuff?
No, well, I wasn't blue enough for them.
Oh, they wanted some dirty stuff.
Yeah, they wanted some of the fryer and all that. And
have you always worked clean? Because from what I've known, you're predominantly pretty darn clean.
I didn't start out clean.
Yeah.
I think the first year I tried to do the
shock value jokes.
Shock value that
I feel like everybody goes through that.
That was popular then. And,
Yeah.
I found out something about audiences. So audiences can tell when you're being you. You can't lie to them. You can entertain them.
Yeah.
But audiences know when you're being yourself up there, or at least whatever. If you're believable.
Yeah.
And they were letting me know that just wasn't me.
Yeah.
That just wasn't me.
It just feels better to get, I feel like it feels better to get laughs off clean jokes anyway.
It is, and you know, contrary to what people think, you know, writing clean material that stands on its own without the shock value is it takes work.
It's hard.
It's hard. So if you can kill at a crowd of 1,000 when the comics before you have been, you know, risque or blue, you come out clean and get, you know, a great response.
Yeah, everybody likes you more, I feel like.
That you know, that's wonderful. It's a compliment, especially if you can hear adults and kids laughing together.
Yeah. To span that generation, because when you said that you first saw comedy, that's when you were a little kid. So that's you're always going to go back to that one moment and be like, that's kind of what you're striving for, something that everybody can laugh at.
Right. I mean, it's a great feeling when you see whole families laughing.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you feel like it was a step backwards when you were kind of not like when you moved back to Denver?
It wasn't a step backwards because I was still able to work.
Mm-hmm.
But it was different. It was different than L.A. You know,
because you see those guys, like some guys like Robin Williams and stuff, doing movies and all that.
Oh yeah, man,
making some cash.
They were friends. I mean, at the time, Robin was doing Mork and Mindy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And like I said, a lot of them were just so kind to me.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Shandling, I always give him credit.
Just recently passed away.
Yeah, he was a wonderful friend. At the time, Mitzi Shore was running the Comedy Store, and she would give him and I the late spots, you know?
Yeah.
For some reason, but it just made us stronger.
Yeah. If you can do good at those crowds.
I had no idea that he had the connections he had and just blew up like that.
Oh, the Larry Sanders Show. And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic writing on that show. Still sets, I mean, the way that modern sitcoms are run today are all based off that show. And the writing and everything. So many people on that show went on to do so much bigger and better things too.
They did.
Did you see him as this guy that you thought like kind of just like had the stuff to do like those great things, or was it like
no? All I saw of him was his stand up.
Yeah,
and his stand up was funny. You know, he was very animated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was creative, and he did the kind of material where you know he made fun of himself a lot.
Yeah.
And those kind of comedians have always made me laugh.
I like it too, because they know themselves. You know, it's like they know themselves well enough to be able to poke fun.
I mean, when they tell you that somebody, you know, did them over or something like that, it's in a way that you laugh at them because you expect it.
Yeah.
You know, that's their character, and it's just so funny. It's so believable, so true.
I felt like that era was a lot more like they understood the physicality and the performance-wise in comedy, and I feel like somewhat these days we're going more towards like I guess I just want to say just like either just straight stand-up or just like maybe not taking as big of chances. I don't know.
I think that's a pretty good description, not taking as many chances, you know, because a lot of people, they want to be funny, but they don't want to look foolish.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is why, you know,
that's really
when you see comedians that come out on stage, you know, they got the diamonds in the ear or, you know, they're decked out, got the bling or whatever, you know, it's not about a fashion show. It's not about look how well I dress.
Yeah.
I don't want you to pay attention to what I'm dressed in. I want you to hear and see what I have to say. I want to make you laugh with my material, okay? And at the same time, I don't want to try to stand there and look sexy so I can score after the show. Okay, do you? Am I?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. No, I mean,
I'm saying that because comedy, in regards to what you were saying, comedy has become less animative for a lot of comedians.
Yeah,
it's all saying there about the clever material, and like you said, they won't take the chances of looking funny or looking foolish. You know, because it's all about image. You know,
and then I see those guys go up there with the nice shoes, the nice jackets and stuff, and then they just, you know, they're not funny. Like they've been worrying about everything else too much. Instead, when we've talked about this before, it's just the material. It's the material, and it's how you convey the material. That's it. There's nothing else really that's involved in the comedy stuff. You know,
you're right.
You have to have a lot of material, and it all has to be really good.
Good, like I said. Once again, when you have material that stands on its own. Without the shock value, you're really making people laugh. You're really working and digging and looking at a way to reach people without having to go to a place that seems to compromise your morals.
Yeah.
you know.
Like in the service of comedy, like you're just doing this for the pure reasons of
Laughter.
laughter,
You know.
and the drug that it is, really.
It is a drug. It's a medicine.
Yeah.
Laughter. People say laughter is the best medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And being that it is medicine, that kind of makes us laugh doctors.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
We definitely have the power, which is why you see some people either like dig into a crowd because they don't think they're laughing enough. Like you see a lot of people up on stage these days that they're up there for them and not up there for the audience.
Well said. They're up there for them. You know, it's more of an ego thing of being able to hold an audience's attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with your character personality, that's fine. But man, if you're not really doing research to find out what it is that makes you laugh and what's so funny about it, and it's so funny, how can I convey it to an audience the way it affected me?
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes I babble and I get off track.
No, you're completely right.
When you sit down and think and write material, your own material, you're also developing another skill of just being able to write possibly scripts.
Yeah.
You know, parts for other comedians.
Yeah.
I was blessed with the opportunity to write for George
Wallace, right? Yeah.
And it's interesting because you have to be able to lock onto that person's
Mm-hmm. And talk through there and know how they would talk.
how they would deliver their
Right
timing,
characters.
what words would not be appropriate for them.
Uh-huh.
You know, absolutely.
Yeah, that's so cool. You got that opportunity. We're gonna talk. We'll start with that on the next episode. That has been the first episode. I told you these things go by quickly.
Yes, they did.
I want to thank you so much for coming out for doing this.
Well, again, thank you for having me here.
Support us online on Twitter at Words with Wayman, Facebook Words with Wayman. We're going to shoot that video for you, and after we do that video, I'm going to put it through onto the site later so people can check that out on the website too. So look forward to that. Listeners out there, thank you so much for listening. We'll be right back with part 2.